Namaste. Welcome to another edition of Navavimash podcast. So today we are going to talk about a very important topic which needs to be discussed. So as you can see from our thumbnail and also from our title, that we're going to talk about today a burning issue which is happening in Hyderabad, where 400 acres of forested land where animals, plants, everywhere were living, and it was a kind of people knew that this is a forest land. Unfortunately, the Telangana government took control of the land, and they quickly tried to deforest the land to make it suitable for the industrial use. And there are few well-meaning people within Hyderabad, within Hyderabad University, and outside took initiatives to save and preserve the environmental heritage of Hyderabad and keep the green lungs alive. So, on this contest, just to give a primer to the audience, what we are talking about and why we are talking about, let me share you few clips that we had actually gathered. So, if you can see here from here, so this is the land on the top, the green lungs of Hyderabad, okay, which was a kind of sanctuary for people to seek peace, where animals, plants lived there. There was a lake also there, which gave a beauty to the city. Now, after this haphazard action from the Telangana government, this pristine green lungs of Hyderabad has become a barren concrete jungle. So this is something concerning for all of us who live in cities, who thirst for green areas, who thirst for a space to breathe. And based on that, there were cases were filed against this misuse of power by the Telangana government. And we have seen, if you can see here, at night, the JCBs and other heavy equipment used to actually deforest the land, considering that there was a petition filed in the High Court to actually prevent it, and it's a disputed land, and we can see how the peacocks, the animals, were harmed in so many ways, okay, and on which there were a lot of also other channels which were there, which actually there was a lot of hue and cry also in media regarding this, and we have seen news channels like Mirror Now, Times Now, but discussing this topic and what exactly happened. So if you can see here, Hyderabad Forest Land Row, this 400 acre of land was given by Chandrababu Naidu to a sports company at that time. So there's a lot of controversy regarding this. So we have with us, let me, yeah, I'll remove this. And now, yeah. So we have with us Mr. Pradeep Sahu, who is an advocate in Supreme Court of India. So, namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. So, so I gave a primer to the audience, like why we are having this program and what is the concerns regarding this. So, could you first introduce yourself, that how you are connected to this case? Is there any personal attachment to this or any professional one, and why you are concerned about this specific issue which is happening? Is it a land dispute or something more?
Sir, namaskar. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, the issue is quite, hue and cry right now going on. And everybody have well acquainted with the issue, and it brought a national sentiment throughout the India. Okay, particularly due to the damage of environment and that particular patch of land aligned with the university. Okay. I'm Pradeep Sahu. Why I'm attaching with this issue, I have a emotion, particularly toward the litigation actually at the university. Because I did my master from University of Hyderabad. I am a alma mater there, and it is our responsibility. If anything happening, if anything going something negative against our university, we have to say. This is the topics we brought here. It's extremely important. It is not from the individual perspective. It is from the responsibility of everyone. It is not nation. It is state. It is the responsibility of everyone to the preserve the environment. Okay. Let me go into the details of the topic we are going to discuss today. There are two debates. What debate? Development versus environment, and the other debate is what are the role of the civil society, what is the role of the court to enter into this arena. uh, if you
Yeah. Okay.
allow me to
Okay.
brief.
Yeah. Okay. So now we will go into the specific aspect of the legal aspect. Then we will slowly go into the other aspect of it, because the primary concern we have is to have the land protected, and also work towards actually restoring. Because from the news stories we have heard that out of this 400 acres of land, 100 acres already has been deforested, and animals have been harmed, plants have been uprooted, the lake has been damaged. So we will first analyze the judgment of Supreme Court which happened and which stayed any activity which should not take place on this disputed land. So could you please, for the audience, for the layman audience, explain the order passed by the Supreme Court and what it exactly means?
Okay, sir, if you allow me to go into the detail, it would be better if the audience could betterly understand the issue. I just
Please
want
go
to
ahead.
get back to the history part.
Yes,
What's happened and why this issue came to the court. Okay, the issue just I want to narrate here. It is date back to the 1975. Okay, Indira Gandhi government particularly allotted a land through the Andhra Pradesh government, around 2,300 acre of land to the establish the central university. Okay, then after that the land allotted, but there is no specific patta or land record that has been specifically allotted to the university. And as and everybody, we all very much acquainted with the same thing that even nobody care about the land record. Even throughout, if you see the throughout the India, there are many institutions, there are college, there are university. They are having running the something running their institution. They do not have the land record. But there are certain people that donated the land. It may be a charitable purpose or it may be something else. But university or institution and school college, they are not keeping the record of that. They presume that it land belong to them. Same thing happened here. But out of 23 acre of land, 400 later got disputed. Okay, then matter went to the court, and university doesn't have the land record, doesn't have the that patta or anything else apart from that boundary wall. So in order to establish your ownership, you need to submit your evidence via your any record. The case was specifically fight on the title suit, and university lost the case. 2020, it went to the Telangana High Court. University lost the case again. That Supreme Court also upheld the favor of the judgment to toward the state. Okay, now the ownership went to the state government. Okay, after that, what happened? Let me go deep into the core of the issue. After that, the Telangana government allotted that 400 acre of land to Telangana, government industrial infrastructure corporation, which is supposed to, create an auction for establishing an IT park there, and all these things came before. Okay, in between, one NGO very much concerned with this environmental concern, Water Foundation. That NGO filed a public interest litigation before the Telangana High Court, and the issue brought particularly in the matter of environmental concern, not a title suit. We lost the title suit. Then in between, the matter got listed in Telangana High Court specifically, order that state government had to file a counter affidavit on that particular concern. Two, three point here, raised by the water partners. I just want to mention to the audience, let them know. The memo order, that memo order, particularly allotment of this 400 acre of land for the auction to establish a IT park, contravened the Forest Conservation Act 1980. First contention. Second, no environmental assessment has been done. If state carrying out any developmental activity in a forest land, but it deemed to be a forest land, though state denied that no record has been found, but still, prime facie, it deemed to be even Supreme Court in Somuto Congress, indicate that it is deemed to be a forest land. So no environmental impact assessment has been done under section under EIA order 2006, and even there are two judgment, landmark judgment, that must be complied by the any government in order to take any developmental activity in a forested area. That is Ashok Kumar Sharma versus Union of India, and one more judgment. Just want to forget that name. There are two landmark judgment. Then judgment had to be complied. Okay, and here government order, that particular memo order didn't comply any the principle of that any rule of that judgment. Okay, so here is the issue, and in between what happened? Then when the matter was subjudiced before the Telangana High Court, they in a hurry, the government brought lot of machinery. We all have witnessed how this JCP and other machinery suddenly brought there and started clearing the tree, and all this pathetic type of deer. There are deer, peacock, tortoise, snakes. There are many flora animal. They are moving here and there. So this is the matter. Then again, when the government start doing all this thing, the one retired scientist, April, I think April 2nd, he brought a public interest litigation by WPC, and they put a urgency motion. Whenever there is a matter of urgency, some PIL can be taken into consideration on urgent note, and they put a public litigation through WPC. And what happened? The court, listed the matter on the urgency note and order, put a stay on the activity of the further any development activity in that patch of land. And that is one issue. Then, as we have witnessed, despite the court order, still some activity was carried out by the state. And apart from that order, that's why the matter finally reached to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court, as as the matter is a lot of hue and cry, the matter is exaggerated in nature. It creates an extraordinary situation. It creates a sentiment, national sentiment. The Supreme Court take cognizance. Supreme Court take some of the cognizance of the matter. Whenever there is a matter, there is an urgency in enforcement of any fundamental rights, any rights. Supreme Court take cognizance of the matter, because until unless the matter is the gravity of matter is huge, Supreme Court doesn't take cognizance. Then the matter reaches to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court in the morning session itself directed the registrar of the Telangana High Court to visit the spot immediately and stand to verify the activity, what is going on, what are the actually what type of activity is carried out, or what are the effect there, and put some certain photograph. And the matter again listed in the same day at 3:45 p.m. and Supreme Court order. Supreme Court raised certain question. Okay, I'll come to that.
Yeah. Okay. So now there are two questions which comes about in terms of being a common man and common man's question. Question number one, on top of whatever you mentioned in terms of the legal aspect and the historical aspect of it. First of all, the clearing of the land which took place, okay, at the midnight, with the heavy machinery being brought in by the government agency to clear about 100 acres of land. That act was illegal or legal as per the provisions? First question. And second question is the dispute settled or it is still in the process of litigation? Two questions.
Yeah. Sir, the matter is still sub judice before the court, even Telangana High Court as well as Supreme Court. So it is matter of still it is not decided. The order has been passed. And regarding your first question, whatever Telangana government did is the ownership with you then. They proved the ownership. It's fine, no problem. Ownership with them. But what about the environmental concern? If whenever state carrying out any developmental activity in a forested land, okay, it deemed to be a forested land. Though it is not on record, it is not on in revenue record, still prime facie it presumed to be a forested land. Even Supreme Court also presumed that the land deemed to be a forested land. Whenever any activity state carry out, particularly over that patch of forested land, you need to follow certain rule. You need to follow certain act, and in that what this order highlight, it contravened to the 1980 Forest Conservation Act first. It also contravenes to the Environmental Impact Assessment Order 2006 second. It also if you want to carry out certain activity in such a land that is particularly aligned with the forest, you have to create an expert committee as per Rule 16.3 of the Forest Conservation Act Rule 2023. You have to constitute an expert committee. Then expert committee first go and look into the environmental concern. Then only you can proceed toward that. It is completely what prime though the matter is sub judice, but prime facie it seems that government has violated certain rule and order.
Yeah, okay, understood. So now from your whatever we heard from you from the legal perspective, so the act which was done to actually clear the land, that was an illegal act. Okay. Now, could you just give a few like bullet points on the orders of Supreme Court, and now and how does it impact the litigation itself?
Yeah. That is much concern for time being, because the matter is sub judice before the Supreme Court, and we cannot have a comment on that. Whether the order is illegal or not, let court decide the matter. But what prime facie, the matter listed in the Supreme Court in urgency note, and Supreme Court take cognizance of the matter. Supreme Court even ordered that the amicus curiae, the appointed for the particular post, to present a full-fledged writ petition on that issue. And Supreme Court directed that the land which allotted by the Telangana government for the auction to establish the IT park is prime facie deemed to be a forest land. That presumption has been urged in the very past itself by the Supreme Court. That the Supreme Court specifically ordered to the Telangana government by its chief secretary that no further single activity can be carried away unless the chief secretary represent that matter through a counter affidavit by April 16. No single activity can be carried out. If any single action can be carried out, activity in that particular land, then it is the chief secretary will be personally liable. And there are certain questions raised by the Supreme Court. I just want to mention that all that question. What was the compelling urgency to undertake the developmental activity in the said alleged land? Because it deemed to be a forest land. The first question raised by the Supreme Court, and it is the responsibility of the chief secretary to answer that. Okay. And where, despite it deemed to be a forest land, environmental impact assessment certificate has been not produced. You have to produce an environmental impact assessment certificate before you carry out such activity in the forest land. Third, when the felling of the tree, whenever the felling of this tree, there must require a requesting permission from the respective forest authority and any other local act. any other statutory, that demand that. That eventually the state could not even took any requesting permission. Prime facie it seems, but yet that yet to be established. That was the question, and then the last question Supreme Court will, this state appointed certain authority, to identify other that land belong to forest and not. Okay, what that authority has nothing to do with that other that nothing to do with the identification of the forest. That question raised by the Supreme Court. Okay, this is the 4-5 question the Supreme Court particular raised to answer before the Telangana government by its Chief Secretary. The case is pending, and in 16 April, the Chief Secretary had to produce through affidavit all this answer. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, for the audience, I am sharing the court findings and the court's directive, which happened. So the next hearing is in April 16th. So till then, as you mentioned, all activities have been paused, and these are the few of the findings which are there in the court order that we actually analyzed, and the court has mentioned a few things which needs to be done. So now we will go back and we will discuss one specific thing. Let me just go there. Yeah, let me remove this and yeah, okay. So now my next question is, apart from the legal perspective that we are discussing, okay, we need to talk about the environmental aspect of so the there should not be development versus environment. Okay, so as a common citizen and also as court has mentioned, okay, and various other NGOs are actually working towards it to find the balance between environment and development. Nobody is against development of a state or a land parcel, which will actually give more employment and revenue to the state and also to the society itself. So my question is that from a legal perspective, from a social perspective, from a perspective of society overall, how do we balance environment and development, and what role the NGOs or people who are concerned like you, who are concerned about the overall social aspect of it, what you proceed and what do you think, what you want from the state government or from the court in terms of to address so that there is a balance established between environment and development at the end of the day?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, the binary debate, development versus environment. And I just want to bit little bit back. You all, we all are very much aware about that development and public purpose debate earlier. That more then turn toward the development versus environment debate. Yes, everybody need development. No doubt on that. We need development, but under what cost we need development? If it you have to check the consequential impact. If you want to bring certain developments, fine, but development must be sustainable. That development must be taken care of the certain thing. And the debate has been quite long, and even this is not the only university case. There are a lot of cases pending before the court. Even pending before the NGT. There are certain rules. There are certain environmental perspective. If any state carrying out any developmental activity on a particular area, if that area is quite environmental concern, we have to protect our ecology. We have witnessed how this rampant pollution and that environmental damage throughout the world going on, and we have to be very much concerned about it. So development, no doubt we want, but under what cost? That is why there are certain rules, and India, always stand, guarded to protect the environment. No doubt there are certain issues, but apart from that, even our government is very much cautious about the protecting the environment. There are so many, rule recently, adopted by the various ministry in order to protect the environment. But that means what? We stand for development. We also stand for the protection of environment. I just want to narrate certain rule. We have created a compensatory afforestation Campa fund. Campa fund. We have the Environmental Protection Act. We have the Forest Conservation Act, and we have so many rules. That rule have to be followed. Okay, you have, first of all, the prime thing that state must be need to be taken into consideration is environmental impact assessment. If any if you want to carry out any activity, you in a ecological sensitive area, you have to be first first you have to be test. So other you have to create an environmental impact assessment. That is the need of the hour. On that perspective, you are not against the environment, but that doesn't mean that you can it is not your absolute authority to pass an order without any you are not taking care of the any rules or act. It should not be like that. That's how the case can be.
Yes. So, just to for the audience, just to give an understanding in a layman's term, we do need jobs, we do need factories, housing, products. But fundamentally, correct, our requirement is clean air, clean water. You cannot, as a human being, you cannot survive if you don't have clean water, clean air, arable land. Okay, we need oxygen, correct, to survive. If we are going to cut down trees, cut down forest areas without finding any sustainable solution. As you mentioned, correct, afforestation laws, which mandate that if you're going to cut down one tree, you plant five times more trees to compensate for those trees which are lost. Because end of the day, trees are the vegetation is very much important, which actually regulates our environment, the rainfall that we see, the clean water that we see. And we also need to mention that we share this earth with the animals who live with us. You cannot just go ahead and harm animals who don't have any say. They cannot go and file a case in Supreme Court. So as a social being, as a social animal, we need to make sure that the rights of the animals are also protected. You just cannot go and destroy their habitat in the name of development. It has to be sustainable. Without water, without air, without arable land to grow food, what are you going to do with the money and job if you don't have clean water and air? So that also is very important part. We need to understand that there has to. It's not optional. We have to find a sustainable way to develop, to grow our economy, to grow our society, to have a more prosperous society. For that, we need these laws. We need the conscience of the human being to take precedence and protect our environment, protect our animals who also live here. So over to you now. I just need to just one thing. So as you mentioned that there are, so you mentioned correct that Indira Gandhi government had allotted 2,300 acres of land to Hyderabad University to set up a campus. And
Continue.
yeah, so and now out of these, due to various lacuna or whatever may happen, and there are many actually institutions who have this kind of issues where they were allotted land to set up campus or set up their own universities and other institutions. Now, and by omission or error, they have not actually legally documented their claim on these lands. And you mentioned that there are many things like this which are there. So now, is there like, can the legal fraternity, can the Supreme Court actually do something about it to actually regularize those lands which in general they occupy, but they do not have a legal documents to prove their ownership?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to answer first question you raised.
Hmm, hmm,
And
hmm,
yeah, you can. There is no doubt that you need to
hmm,
create a hubs. You need to create a IT hub. You need to create any software hub, and you can generate a lot of employment. You need economic growth. Everybody want that. There is no doubt on that. But as I earlier already expressed that under what cost? It also you need clean environment. You need pollution free environment, and that also a priority. But what we all must alert on this point that there are other patches of land apart from the university land, apart from that particular costed land. You can approach other part. That also a part of the. You can create IT hubs. You can generate employment. No problem on that. That's why the entire debate is there. Then second part, I just want to go into the deeps a little bit,
hmm,
because this
hmm.
this question is very much important. As the matter is subject before the court, the question must be raised, certain question, certain point. Uh, Sir, just want to
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
bit
Please.
lament. You just see throughout the India, there are many institutions, there are many school colleges, there are many other university. They have their own land, but they do not have their record. What they have is their boundary, and they just presume that that particular indication of the particular boundary within that land belong to us. This is fine. Everybody presume that. And who else will think that if someday government will come and start claiming that the land belong to us? Because ultimately land is a state subject, and state has to allocate that particular land for the creation of any institution or university. Okay, even on the private note, I just want to little bit divide. Even private entity donating or giving any land to create an institution. On that note, I just request every private institution, every institution, please keep your land record properly. Otherwise, time will come, then even their great grandson may come with their record and start claiming your land. This can be. On what we can do right now. It's a matter of subjudice. What we can do. Uh, uh, we know that we do not have any land record. We do not have any patta. We do not have any type of legal record, so that we can claim our ownership. But what we can do is definitely we have there is a boundary, and there is a boundary, and obviously we cannot rely on the Google Map. Even in Telangana, the Telangana High Court Land Council Advocate General put their contentions that we cannot rely on the Google Map. It's fine, but if you see if you look the last 50 years, yeah, no any single encroachment over that boundary from the state activity. So how could you presume that that land belongs to the state? Okay, if that belongs to the state, though we do not have the land record, but prime facie presumption may be arise that land belongs to the university. That's all. And how could we proceed? While litigation, that is a question of debate, but we are searching for that right now. The matter is sub judice. We are working on that. Even I'm just going to file a intervening application in between, and we are also going to discuss what sort of legal action can be brought, so that we can even save our own land, university land. That also question, because the matter already the judgment already passed, but maybe we can find out certain legal way. That's what we're thinking, and we have to be work on that.
Yeah, okay. So, just as a curious question, correct? So there is a called statutory of limitations, where if is there a precedent where you occupy a land for 100 years or maybe 50 years, and although you don't have a record, but you have an occupancy record of the land and land use itself for a number of years, and then somebody comes and says that this land belongs to me. Okay. So, does the statute of limitations apply here?
Sir, let me clarify a little bit.
Hmm,
This is a
hmm, hmm,
property title suit debate.
hmm, hmm,
And see, if you have the land, you must have to maintain certain, frequency within the
hmm,
your revenue cycles. That's
hmm,
all.
hmm,
You have to make a frequency. You have to put. You have to keep paying certain charges within the
hmm,
revenue
hmm,
cycle. Okay,
hmm, hmm,
and
hmm,
there are certain law like easement right. Other whoever is holding more than in any public land is hold by uh,
hmm,
whoever entity is holding any public land and it's
hmm,
limited it over the 30 year. There are
hmm,
certain right that can be
hmm,
generated. But
hmm, hmm,
even I did not went into the deep into the matter of that
hmm,
title suit, but I just want to
hmm,
go through that title suit. What
hmm,
actually what was the contestation put from the university side. I just want to go through that. Whether on one basis the argument has been done. One point is like judgment right. Secondly, the Supreme Court passed the judgment. Okay, there is no review petition. Otherwise, if there would be any review petition, you can file by a curative petition. Okay, but despite all this, legal option, we can also approach. Even if you can establish in a claimant prime facie claimant over the particular land, we have many legal instrument that could be support to us. We are trying to find that. We're trying to find that particular instrument we can support our claimant. That's what. And we can also approach the Supreme Court. Since Supreme Court take cognizance of the matter, we can approach. You can bring certain document on the. If we can produce the new evidence, then might be under Article 142. That basically in order to give complete justice, Supreme Court can even out of can can take some of the cognizance in a particular substances issue. We are working on that. We are working. We are working on that. Our team and my friend and our team working on that. If we could establish any claimant over the particular, it will be you know. It will be a situation like we can establish our submission before the court. That's what we're thinking. Okay.
yeah. Okay. Just final question on this. Because I'm just asking on behalf of audience. Audience also can ask questions, so we will take your questions a little bit later. So, you mentioned correct that 2,300 acres of land was given by the government to establish Hyderabad University. So,
Yeah.
is that something which that record exists, that how much land was allotted to Hyderabad University for this purpose, or that is also not available? Just in case.
Yes, sir, actually, it presumed that 2,300 of record has been presumed that 2,300 of acre land has been allotted to the university. But as I told earlier, the
Hmm,
land is a state subject. Okay, state has to maintain the land record. On that part, state has to transfer that 2,300 of land to the university. But generally, state I think state did not do it. Hopefully, the presumption is 2,300, but the state is claiming that we have only allotted we did not allotted the 400 patches of land. That's what the debate is on. But I told my friend, I just still look into the matter thoroughly. Since the
hmm,
matter is
hmm,
sub judice still going on, I just look into the document thoroughly and, see whether we can establish our claimant. The Supreme Court takes so into it is one of the advantage situation for every one of us. Every one of us who are working in the court, you working, and it is a matter of alma mater. All our friends are working on that. It is a good situation. We
hmm.
can establish it. Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So, final question: how much valuable that land is? Actually, because there's one question which actually I'll take this question to actually put forth the point. So the question is, what was the such urgency to deforest the area? So what I want to add to the question is, I have been to Hyderabad. I have seen that place. When you go through that bridge or flyover from Gachibowli, you can see that land, okay, and the boulders and other things are there. And you also study in that university itself. So, how much valuable that land is currently, so that people are willing to actually trample over rights of the others, flout some specific rules to actually destroy that place greenery. How much valuable or the commercial aspect is comes about into this these activities in terms of valuable land it is.
Sir, the question is raised by the Supreme Court, so I just
Hmm,
want to, but
hmm,
have some statement. I do not want to
hmm,
go,
hmm,
justification of that particular point.
hmm,
But let
hmm,
me tell you a little bit on that.
hmm,
What happened? Why this land is not, included as a forest land? You just keep that.
hmm,
State, it is the role of the state government. Everywhere you find throughout the India, it is your advantage. You just include any patch of land as a forest land. You'll get so much, project fund, everything you will get. It like a advantage for the state government. But why this 400, even if you got the ownerships of that particular land, you just prime state into a forest land. Once you declare that particular patch of land as a forest land, state government is very much acquainted with the process, and that's why if you declare that particular land as a forest land, you have to follow certain procedure before carrying out any activity. That is why when the Water Foundation filed a PIL, the matter got sub judice, and government is well acquainted. Once the matter reaches to the court, it will take time to get the sorted out everything. That's the primary question. That is why we have witnessed all this hue and cry, that suddenly all this JCP and all this big machinery brought by the state in order to clear. I mean, they have been doing such type of activity in night. You just see the sound of the bird there. It's quite pathetic. Everybody. That's why the national sentiment is carried. Emerge. That's why Supreme Court took the cognizance. You cannot do in overnight everything. There are certain rules. There are certain procedure. You have to be followed. That's what we meant. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So let me just check a few things. I think we have covered most of the topics that we will discuss. So now there are two questions which will go one by one. First, the question is, what do you expect? What is the way ahead to actually resolve this issue in an amicable way, where development and rights of the citizens of the environment both are addressed and given proper priority and implemented? So, what is the way ahead for you as a part of the litigation process, and what do you expect in general to happen?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and the question has been, concern of everyone throughout the India. What could be done here? Sir, we support the development, no doubt. But if you go there, if you will visit the University of Hyderabad and then particular page of land, you can witness the beauty. You can witness there are peacock, there are deer, there are different type of animals, there are lake, there is a billion-year-old rock, that mushroom rock. It is geological cycle rock. You see, you can see everything. So how beautiful this university is. Okay, so what I think and what everyone, most of us, most of our friends who have studied there, who have been there, think that let put this piece of land, include that piece of land within the university. I'm not saying that whoever established the title seat doesn't matter, since it is a part of the environmental concern. Let put that particular land. Don't no human encroachment, nothing else. They keep that land as ecological park, keep that land as any other environmental type of thing. You can establish a botanical research park. You can establish some all this type of environmental supportive thing can be carried out there. We no doubt we always support and stand for that type of activity. Or necessary to put a industrial park or ecological IT park. If you carry it out, if you do such thing, then obviously if you go, that's all surrounding area will get polluted. That's why there is a statement. I just want to bring that statement. पर्यावरण नाशेनम नश्यन्ति सर्प जंतवः पवनः दुष्टता याति प्रकृति विकृता याति. Due to destruction of our environment, all human beings are destroyed. The wind get vicious and the nature become hostile. But this not only be in, this not seems to be a quote. You can even witness within few days after you allow such type of activity. Right? Not only in University of Hyderabad, anywhere. Okay, so this is our core responsibility. Even it has a direct, immediate impact upon our, health, our environment. That's right.
Yeah, to reinforce the point, Hyderabad has been facing water crisis for I think last decade. Like the water table has gone so down, and people literally have to fight for water in Hyderabad, especially in Gachibowli and Jubilee Hills area. So we can see if you are going to destroy the environment, you are going to have severe issues with even getting water. So that becomes that which it's very unsustainable. Just one question before we go back to audience question. There are one or two questions from audience itself. That 400 patch of land that we see. Okay, is there a is there a possibility where let's say you mentioned there's a billion year old rock which is there, there's a lake there, so can we is there a possibility where some part of the land could be used for as an activity for industries, and other part could be kept reserved as a a eco park or some research session would be there, so can that also be a probability can happen?
Sir, I have witnessed that particular land. That's why I have
Hmm.
a word on that. That entire patch of land is so much connected. You cannot separate that. If you want to separate, then the whole ecological cycle will get damaged. That for sure. There is you cannot, that's why it seems like a 21st century ecological disaster. You cannot, separate this patch of land that you put 100 acre, 200 acre to the, for the industrial purpose, and rest 200 to the. It's not like that. If you start enclosing that, all ecological cycle will get damaged. Okay, there are flora, there are fauna, there are biological community, all and you mentioned one point. I just want to add that the University of Hyderabad is deemed to be a city of lake. If you go there, you can find there are beautiful lake. One lake is also coming included within this patch of land. You have Peacock Lake, we have Buffalo Lake, and there are other beautiful lakes. You just go there and see. If you start carrying out any single activity over that area, the entire environmental and geological or ecological cycle will get disturbed. So according to me, let's put that there is no necessity to bring that land and to carry out any further industrial purpose. Just put that land in any other purpose within the environmental concern. It's okay. You can create a archaeological park, since there are a lot of as I mentioned, there is a mushroom rock. Yeah, you can see
Yeah.
that in the picture. There is that it's part of billion-year-old. You can put that that mushroom rock, all these things, you kept like a archaeological park. That's it.
Yeah, so like example could be like New York. In New York, you have a Central Park, and Central Park sits on bang in the middle of the world's most expensive real estate. So if New York can have a Central Park in the middle of the most valuable real estate available on this earth, then why can't like Hyderabad city has something similar to what you are saying, that create a kind of a uh, Central Park kind of thing within the city limit itself. It can be done.
Sir, New York, I have been not acquainted with that, but New York is having different environmental landscape. We cannot compare New York with the Hyderabad. As you rightly mentioned, Hyderabad is facing the water crisis. There are a lot of environmental crisis facing by the Hyderabad. So we cannot compare this New York and Hyderabad in a simultaneous way. Hyderabad is having their own concern. If you add on further environmental concern, it will be like an ecological disaster. Even it will be directly impact our future generation. So you cannot compare New York City with the Hyderabad for the time.
Hmm.
What I presume.
Yeah, okay, understood. So last question. So last question is, as common citizens, correct? So you are a lawyer practicing in Supreme Court. So you can actually do something about it. But what common people like us and people who are listening and watching you, what they can do to contribute in this specific issue or in general to make our environment better, be it more sustainable. So what a common person can do in a positive way.
Sir, I just want to make a statement.
Hmm.
Sometimes civil society claim or moral claim become a legal claim. That we witnessed that in the recent case. If civil society in society get alerted about the environmental question, ultimately it is the vulnerable population, it is the lower class population, marginal population. They will first face the challenges. It is not the rich people. So if it is the society first have to be very much alerted on this particular issue. Let have a social type of movement based on the environment. Let put everyone. The responsibility belong to local people, nation, state, NGO, everybody. Let put our environmental concern before the mainstream, so that ultimately we have to face na. It is, we have to face this negative consequence. So on that point, I just want to appeal everyone, those who are indirectly involved in the particular concern, have their opinion, have their let's spread this message through social media that we have to we the people of India are very much alerted on this particular issue.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for your time. Now we will take, there are two or three questions which are quite interesting. So the first question is from Nina. Nina is asking, there are many places where they do development alongside nature. For example, IIT Madras has a park inside its campus where deers roam freely, last I heard. So could they make it like that? Not like for this land, but a kind of framework defined by the environment ministry, the government, or maybe some other pass by the court himself, so that this conflict which we see, you mentioned the binary issue. So how do we come out with this binary issue and create frameworks, laws, and also regulations to actually, so that whenever development happens, it happens in a sustainable manner where both concerns are taken care of, so that we don't have this kind of issue coming in future.
Yes, it's a rightly indeed a good question. That I do not, I have not been to IIT Madras. I have not seen
Mm,
what type of development is there, what type of
mm,
the industry, any activities along with this IIT Madras. I have not been to, but yes, if that type of activity, whatever activity you are carrying out, that is if that is concern, if we can compatible certain thing with the environmental without damaging any environmental concern, that's fine, no problem on that. You can carry it out, but you have to be keep both the thing on the one hand. We cannot ignore one thing on the one thing and ignore the other thing. But that if there are certain things that is permissible within the environmental rule also, you can do that. But the state can do that without there is no any contribution on that particular part. You can do, but that thing must be sustainable in nature. That activity, whatever you want to pursue, that thing must be sustainable in nature, long term, not short term. If you we can keep establish many things there, then later part we will feel that after 10-20 years start to having negative consequence. So we just keep that in mind. Okay, it depends on what type of development you want to carry out. If it is the development is concerned with the environment, it's fine.
thank you. So we have a last question with us. I think the user joined late for the program, but we had discussed it. But still, Gautam Varun asked, was it a government land? So I think we have discussed, but still, you can just briefly answer that whether the land belongs to government or not.
Yeah, indeed, it is a government land because the case has been already decided. that Telangana government got the ownership right, no doubt on that. But still the matter is still subjudized. Anything can be possible. So it is our responsibility, your sir, your, me, and all civil society, everybody, and all lawyer, all activist lawyer, those who are working on the particularly environmental concern. Right now, this is our part. How could we establish that the land belongs to the university? This must be a challenges. But anyhow, we'll keep our effort going on. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Right now, for time being, let's presume this is a government case because the case has been already decided.
Yes. So thank you, Mr. Sahu. We really appreciate you giving us time and taking time to explain to us, because general people would not delve into these legal issues in general, but for you to come and explain to us and also to the audience, like the significance of this case in terms of its legality and also its overall long-term impact that it could have overall to our society in general. And again, as you mentioned, that it is the civil society, because end of the day, if we're going to do our development in an unsustainable manner where we are damaging our environment in the long run, we are going to suffer the same issues that this today. Hyderabad is facing severe water crisis. Every year it happens. And why it happens, nobody has bothered about it. End of the day, it is going to the working class people who live, rich people can actually afford something. But if we don't take the environment and sustainable development for us, for every common citizen, as a something priority, we are going to leave our next generation in a very vulnerable environment where they will struggle for water, clean air, and other things. So act today as a common person, you can at least share these concerns on your social media, talk to your people, talk to your friends, let them understand that environment is as much responsible, as much required as money and material things. You can live without having a pizza, but you cannot live and thrive without having clean water and clean air. That's something we take it for granted. But if you do something like this in an unsustainable manner, where we destroy our environment, our animals, our ecology, it's going to leave you and the future generations in a very, very perilous state. So, last word to you, Mr. Sahu, and then we will close the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, last word to you. In anything else you want to say before we close?
I just want to appeal everyone here from your channel also. Let all civil society, all people who are who are having concern, even not concern, let have to raise a voice for the environment. Because in the if you are start damaging environment, now it is a direct impact. We have witnessing in Delhi. In winter session, winter season, you will be in the Delhi. You will feel direct consequence of the environmental pollution. That's what I'm thinking, and I have to appeal to throughout nation who are listening to this channel. Please have some concern about the environment. Spread this message as much as possible that we have to protect our environment in any way it could possible. From the bottom to the tops, everybody responsibility. That's all.
Yeah. So thank you a lot for your time. Maybe we will connect sometime later when we see some progress. So maybe we can invite you again to see some more progress. Hopefully, good news and better things for us. So till then, do keep us in touch. Maybe you can share some data to me. Then I will keep my audience updated and maybe invite you later as well. So thank you for your time. So Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.
Yes, thank you, sir.